The library looked tranquil enough as I entered it. Oh, Jane is walking into the library to meet with the gypsy woman. Okay. The library looked tranquil enough as I entered it, and the Sybil, if Sybil were there, was seated snugly enough in an easy chair at the chimney corner. She had on a red cloak and a black bonnet, or rather a broad-brimmed gypsy hat, tied down with a striped handkerchief under the chin. An extinguished candle stood on the table. She was bending over the fire and seemed reading in a little black book, like a prayer book. By the light of the blaze, she muttered the words to herself, as most old women do. While she read, she did not desist immediately on my entrance. It appeared she wished to finish the paragraph. I stood on the rug and warmed my hands, which were rather cold with sitting at a distance from the drawing-room fire. I felt now as composed as ever I did in my life. There was nothing indeed in the gypsy's appearance to trouble one's calm. She shut her book and slowly looked up. Her hat brim partially shaded her face, yet I could see, as she raised it, that she was a strange one. It looked all brown and black. Elf locks bristled out from beneath a white band which passed under her chin and came half over her cheeks, or rather her jaws. Her eye confronted me at once with a bold and direct gaze. "Well, and you want your fortune told," said she, in a voice as decided as her glance, as harsh as her features. "I don't care about it, mother. Aw. You may please yourself, but I ought to warn you I have no faith." "It's like your impudence to say so. I expected it of you. I heard it in your step as you crossed the threshold." "Did you? You have a quick ear." "I have, and a quick eye, and a quick brain. You need them in my trade." Oh, I'm sorry. I looked up and got distracted. I'm sorry. I thought the thing. Let me just stop it. "You need them all in your trade." "I do, especially when I have customers like you to deal with." "Why don't you tremble?" "I'm not cold." "Why don't you turn pale?" "I am not sick." "Why don't you consult my art?" "I'm not silly." The old crone nickered, a laugh under her bonnet and bandage. She then drew out a short black pipe and lighting it began to smoke. Having indulged a while in this sedative, she raised her bent body, took the pipe from her lips, and while gazing steadily at the fire, she said very deliberately, "You are cold, you are sick, and you are silly." "Prove it," I rejoined. "I will, in a few words. You are cold because you are alone. No contact strikes the fire from you that is in you. You are sick because the best of feelings, the highest and the sweetest given to man, keeps far away from you. You are silly because, suffer as you may, you will not beckon it to approach, nor will you stir one step to meet it where it waits you." She again put her short black pipe to her lips and renewed her smoking with vigor. "You might say all to all that you are almost anyone who you knew. You might say all that to almost anyone who you knew lived in a solitary dependent in a great house." Okay, Jane's challenging her. Like, you could say that to anybody. And she could, but it was true. And that was a read if I ever heard one. That was very accurate. "I might say it to almost anyone, but would it be true of almost anyone?" Oh, in many circumstances. "Yes, just so. In your circumstances, but find another precisely placed as you are." Hold on. "It would be easy to find you in thousands. You could, it's hard to do dialogue. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, Jane says, "You could scarcely find me one if you knew it. You are peculiarly situated, very near happiness, yes, within reach of it. The materials are all prepared. There only wants a movement to combine them. Chance laid them somewhat apart. Let them be approached and bliss results." Let me. Okay, so she's saying you can't find a better circumstance. She's precisely placed. She's saying you're in a good position, Jane, but you're still lonely. And the Jane responds, "Yeah, but Anyways, I'm not the only one who's confused because Jane says, I don't understand enigmas. I never could guess a riddle in my life. Okay, dead ass. Because I said, what is this woman talking about? Okay. And she says, if you wish me to speak more plainly, show me your palm. And I must cross it with silver, I suppose, to be sure. I gave her a shilling to put in her old stocking foot, which she took out of her pocket, and having tied it round and returned it, she told me to hold out my hand. I did. Did she make her pay her? I didn't even want my fortune told, and you made me pay you? Hold on. She approached her face to the palm, and I poured over it without touching it. Okay. So she's staring at Jane's hand. She says, "It is too fine," said she. "I can make nothing of such a hand as that, almost without lines. Besides, what is in a palm? Destiny is not written there." "I believe you," said I. "No," she continued, "it is in the face, on the forehead, in the eyes themselves, and the lines of the mouth. Kneel and lift up your head." "Ah, now you are coming to reality," I said as I obeyed her. "I shall begin to put some faith in you presently." I knelt within half a yard of her. She stirred the fire so that a ripple of light broke from the disturbed coal. The glare, however, as she sat, only threw her face into deeper shadow. Mine it illuminated. "I wonder with what feelings you came to me tonight," said she, when she had examined me in a while. "I wonder what thoughts are busy in your heart during all the hours you sit in the yonder room with fine people flitting before you like shapes in a magic lantern, just as little sympathetic communion passing between you and them, as if they were really mere shadows of human forms and not the actual substance." Sorry for that. Okay. "I feel tired often, sleepy often, but seldom sad." "Then you have some secret hope to buoy you up and please you with whispers of the future?" "Not I. The utmost I hope is to save money, enough out of my earnings to set up a school some day in a little house rented by myself. Oh. A mean nurturement for the spirit to exist on. And sitting in that window seat, you see, I know your habits. You've learned them from the servants." It's so hard to read dialogue. I apologize. Okay. Um, you think yourself sharp. Well, perhaps I have, to speak truth. I have an acquaintance with them. Mrs. Poole. I stared at my feet when I heard the name. I'm sorry. Okay, so the gypsy is suggesting that Jane feels like sad and outcast, obviously, as she's around people who she can't relate with. There's no actual substance, like she's just like a passing thought to them, right? And she asks Jane how she feels, and she says, "I'm tired a lot. I'm sleepy sometimes," and she's rarely sad. And the woman's like, "Oh, so you have some hope that's keeping you going." And Jane says her hope is to open up a school and basically be alone. And the woman's like, "Yeah, sitting by yourself, lovely. That's gonna keep you going." And Jane's like, "You don't know me, and if you do, it's because you learned it from the servants." And then the gypsy admits, "Yes, I do know Mrs. Poole." "Don't be alarmed," continued the strange being. "She's a safe hand, Miss Poole, close and quiet. Anyone may repose confidence in her. But as I was saying, sitting in that window seat, do you think of nothing but your future school? Have you no present interest in any of the company who occupy the sofas and chairs before you? Is there not one face you study, one figure whose movements you follow with at least curiosity?" I like to observe all the faces and all the figures, as she does. "But do you never single one from the rest? Or it may be two." "I do, frequently. When the gestures or looks of a pair seem telling a tale, it amuses me to watch them." "What tale do you like best to hear?" "Oh, I have not much choice. They generally run on the same theme, courtship and promise to end in the same catastrophe, marriage." "And do you like the monotonous theme?" "Positively. I don't care about it. It is nothing to me." "Nothing to you. When a lady young and full of life and health, charming with beauty and endowed with gifts of rank and fortune, sits and smiles in the eyes of gentlemen, I what? You know, and perhaps think well of." I don't know the gentlemen here. I have scarcely interchanged a syllable with any of them, and as to thinking well of them, I consider some respectable and stately and middle-aged, and other young, dashing, handsome, and lively, but certainly they are all at liberty to be the recipients of whose smiles they please, without my feeling disposed to consider the transaction of any moment to me. Okay, they don't care about me. You don't know the gentlemen here. You've not exchanged a syllable with one of them. Will you say that of the master of the house? He is not home. A profound remark, a most ingenious quibble. He went to Millcote this morning and will be back here tonight or tomorrow. Does that circumstance exclude him from the list of your acquaintance, blot him out as if he were out of existence? No, but I can scarcely see what Mr. Rochester has to do with the theme you've introduced here. I was talking of ladies smiling in the eyes of gentlemen, and of late so many smiles have been shed into Mr. Rochester's eyes that they overflow like 2 cups above the brim. Have you never remarked that? Mr. Rochester has a right to enjoy the society of his guests. No question about his right, but have you never observed that of all the ladies' tales... Wait, hold. Mr. Rochester has every right to enjoy the society. Yes, of course he has that right. But have you never observed that of all the tales told here about matrimony, Mr. Rochester has been favored with the most lively and most continuous? The eagerness of a listener quickens the tongue of a narrator. I said this rather to myself than to the gypsy, whose strange talk, voice, manner had by this time wrapped me in a kind of dream. One unexpected sentence came from her lips after another, till I got involved in a web of mystification, and wondered what unseen spirit had been sitting for weeks by my heart, watching its workings and taking record of every pulse. Eagerness of a listener, repeated she. Yes, Mr. Rochester has sat by the hour, his ear inclined to the fascinating lips that took such delight in their task of communicating, and Mr. Rochester was so willing to receive and looked so grateful for the pastime given him. You've noticed this. Okay, so she's touching on the fact that Blanche bitch ass been all in her ear, all up in his face this whole time. You know you've seen that. Anyway, you've noticed this. Grateful. I cannot remember detecting gratitude in his face. Detecting, so you've analyzed then. And what did you detect if not gratitude? I said nothing. You've seen love, have you not? And looking forward, you've seen him married and beheld his bride happy. Not exactly. Your witch's skill is rather at fault sometimes. What the devil have you seen then? Never mind. I came here to inquire, not to confess. Is it known that Mr. Rochester is to be married? Yes, and to the beautiful Miss Ingram. Shortly? Appearances would warrant that conclusion, and no doubt, though, with an audacity that wants chastising out of you, and you seem to question it, that they will be superlatively happy pair. He must love such a handsome, noble, witty, accomplished lady, and probably she loves him, or if not his person, at least his purse. I know she considers the Rochester estate eligible to that last degree, though, God pardon me, I told her something on that point about an hour ago, which made her look wondrous grave. The corners of her mouth fell half an inch. I would advise her black-advised suitor to look out. If another... The gypsy is telling her that Mr. Rochester and Miss Ingram are going to be married, so she plants that idea in her head, which makes the movie make more sense because they cut this part out. So thank you for this context. So everyone's saying that they're gonna get married, and so the gypsy's recounting that she told Blanche a part of her fortune that made her sad, and she leaves. And then Jane chimes in, but mother, I did not come here to hear Mr. Rochester's fortune. I came to hear my own, and you told me nothing of it. Your fortune is yet doubtful. When I examined your face, one trait contradicted another. Chance had meted you a measure of happiness that I knew it before I came here this evening. She has laid it carefully on one side for you. I saw her do it. It depends on yourself to stretch out your hand to take it up. But whether you will do so is the problem I study. Kneel again on the rug. Don't keep me long, the fire scorches me. I know. She did not stoop towards me, but only grazed, leaning back in her chair. She began muttering. The flame flickers in the eye shines like dew. It looks soft and full of feeling. It smiles at my jargon. It is susceptible. Impression follows impression through its clear sphere. Where it ceases to smile, it is sad. An unconscious lassitude weighs on the lid that signifies melancholy resulting from loneliness. It turns from me. I will not suffer further scrutiny. It seems to deny by a mocking glance the truth of the discoveries I have already made, to disown the charge both of sensibility and jargon. Its pride and reserve only confirm me, in my opinion. The eye is favorable. Duh. As to the mouth, it delights at times in laughter. It is disposed to impart all the brain conceives, though I dare say it would be silent on much of the heart's experiences. Mobile and flexible, it is never intended to be compressed in the internal silence of solitude. It is a mouth which should speak much and smile often and have human affection for its interlocutor. That feature too is propitious. Propitious? I don't know. I see no enemy to a fortunate issue but in the brow. She says, I see no enemy to a fortunate issue but in the brow. And that brow professes to say, I can live alone, if self-respect and circumstances require me to do so. I need not sell my soul to buy bliss. I've an inward treasure born with me, which can keep me alive if all extraneous delights should be withheld or offered only at a price I cannot afford to give. Self-respect. The forehead declares. Reason sits firm and holds the reins, and she will not let the feelings burst away and hurry her to wild chasms. The passions may rage furiously, like true heathens as they are, and the desire may imagine all sorts of vain things. But judgment shall still have the last word in every argument, and the casting vote in every decision. Strong wind, earthquake, shock, and fire may pass by, but I shall follow the guiding of that still small voice which interprets and dictates the conscience. Well said, forehead. Your declaration shall be respected. I have formed my plans, right plans I deem them, and in them I have attended to the claims of conscience, the counsels of reason. I know how soon youth would fade and bloom perish it, if, in the cup of bliss offered, but one drag of shame, or one flavor of remorse were detected, and I do not want sacrifice, sorrow, dissolution. Such is not my taste. I wish to foster, not to blight, to earn gratitude, not to wring tears of blood, no, nor of brine. My harvest must be in smiles and endearments and sweet. That will do. I think I rave in a kind of exquisite delirium. I should wish now to protect this moment of infinitum, but I dare not. So far I have governed myself thoroughly. I have acted as I inwardly swore I would act, but farther might try me beyond my strength. Rise, Miss Eyre. Leave me, the play is played out. She gets me, she loses me. She gets me, she loses me. Okay, she said the forehead. As planned. But she considers with her consciousness and reason. She knows she's young, and that youth will fade and perish, and these feelings, this cup of bliss that is offered. Okay. Jane wants this, obviously. This is obviously about Rochester. She wants this. She wants this happiness. She's not going to take it because it's wrong. And I've been there, done that. Like, been there, done that. She's right. You could be young and dumb, YOLO, and I could do it, but I don't want to sacrifice myself and leave sorrowful, leave dejected, leave shameful doing something for a moment of pleasure, basically. Self-respect. Again, where was I? Did I wake or sleep? Had I been dreaming? I I've not been reading this. Um, but I'm caught back up with it, and I'm rereading the gypsy scene, kind of getting used to the language again, and something shifting. So it says, "Did I dream?" The old woman's voice had changed. Her accent, her gesture, and all were familiar to me as my own face in a glass, as the speech of my own tongue. I got up, but did not go. I looked, I stirred the fire, and I looked again. But she drew her bonnet and her bandage closer about her face, as if beckoning me to depart. The flame illuminated her hand, stretched out, roused now, and on the alert for discoveries. I had once noticed that hand. It was no more the withered limb of an eld than my own. It was a round, supple member, with smooth fingers, symmetrically turned. A broad ring flashed on the little finger, and stooping forward, I looked at it and saw a gem that I had seen 100 times before. Again, I looked at the face, which no longer turned from me. On the contrary, the bonnet was doffed, the bandage displaced, and the head advanced. "Well, Jane, do you know me?" asked the familiar voice. "Only take off the red cloak, sir, and then... But the string is a knot. Help me." "Break it, sir." "There, then, off ye lendings." And Mr. Rochester stepped out of his disguise. I've seen almost every version of Jane Eyre. I did not finish his book as I was supposed to in high school, which is why I'm reading it now. And this entire time, the gypsy scene, the gypsy was Mr. Rochester. I need to go back and make sure I'm understanding this correctly, because what the fuck, like, okay. It says, "Now, sir, what a strange idea. Strange indeed, yeah. But well carried out, eh? Don't you think so? With the ladies you must have managed well, but not with you. You did not act the character of a gypsy with me." "What character did I act? My own?" "No, some unaccountable one. In short, I believe you have been trying to draw me out or in. You've been talking nonsense to make me talk nonsense. It's scarcely fair, sir. Do you forgive me, Jane?" "I cannot tell till I have thought it over. If on reflection I find I have fallen into no great absurdity, I shall try to forgive you, but it was not right." "Oh, you have been very correct, very careful, very sensible." I reflected and thought on the whole. I had. It was on my guard almost from the beginning of the interview. Something of masquerade I suspected. I knew gypsies and fortune tellers did not express themselves as the seeming old woman had expressed herself. Besides, I had noted her feigned voice, her anxiety to conceal her features. But my mind had been running on Grace Poole, the living enigma, the mystery of mysteries, as I considered her. I had never thought of Mr. Rochester. "Well," he said, "what are you musing about? What does that grave smile signify?" "Wonder and self-congratulation, sir. I have your permission to retire now, I suppose." "No. Stay a moment, and tell me what the people in the drawing room yonder are doing." "Discussing the gypsy, I dare say." "Sit down. Let me hear what they said about me." "I'd better not be long, sir. It must be near 11 o'clock. "Oh, and you are aware, Mr. Rochester, there's a stranger who has arrived here since you left this morning." "A stranger?" "No. Who can it be? I expected no one. Is he gone?" "No. He said he had known you long, and that he could take the liberty of installing himself here till you returned." "The devil, did he? Did he give his name?" "His name is Mason, sir, and he comes from the West Indies, from a Spanish town in Jamaica, I think." Mr. Rochester was standing near me. He had taken my hand as if to lead me to a chair. As I spoke, he gave my wrist a convulsive grip. The smile on his lips froze. Apparently a spasm caught his breath. "Mason, the West Indies," he said, in a tone one might fancy as speaking automation to announce his single words. "Mason, the West Indies," he reiterated, and he went over the syllables 3 times, growing, and the intervals of speaking, whiter than ashes. He hardly seemed to know what he was doing. "Do you feel ill, sir?" I inquired. "Jane, I've got a blow, Jane, he staggered. Oh, lean on me, sir. Jane, you offered me your shoulder once before. Let me have it now. Yes, sir, yes, in my arm. He sat down and made me sit beside him. Holding my hand in both his own, he chafed it, grazing on me, at the same time with the most troubled and dreary look. My little friend, said he, I wish I were in a quiet island with only you, and trouble and danger and hideous recollections removed from me. Can I help you, sir? I give my life to serve you. Jane, if aid is wanted, I'll seek it at your hands, I promise you that. Thank you, sir. Tell me what to do. I'll try at least to do it. Fetch me now, Jane, a glass of wine from the dining room. They will be at supper there, and tell me if Mason is with them and what he's doing. I went. I found all the party in the dining room at supper, as Mr. Rochester had said. They were not seated at the table. The supper was arranged on the sideboard. Each had taken what he chose, and they stood about here and there in groups, their plates and glasses in their hands. Each one seemed in high glee. Laughter and conversation were general and animated. Mr. Mason stood near the fire, talking to Colonel and Mrs. Dent, and appeared as merry as any of them. I filled a wine glass. I saw Miss Ingram watch me frowningly as I did so. She thought I was taking a liberty, I dare say. And I returned to the library. Mr. Rochester's extreme pallor had disappeared, and he looked once more firm and stern. He took the glass from my hand. Here's to your health, ministrant spirit. Here's to your health, ministrant spirit, he said. He swallowed the contents and returned it to me. What are they doing, Jane? Laughing and talking, sir. They don't look grave and mysterious as if they heard something strange. Not at all. They are full of jest and gaiety. And Mason? He was laughing too. If all these people came in a body and spat at me, what would you do, Jane? Turn them out of the room, sir, if I could. He half smiled. But if I were to go to them, and they only looked at me coldly and whispered sneeringly amongst each other, and then dropped off and left me one by one, what then? Would you go with them? I rather think not, sir. I should have more pleasure in staying with you. To comfort me? Yes, sir, to comfort you as well as I could. And if they laid you under a ban of adhering to me, I probably should know nothing about their ban, and if I did, I should care nothing about it. Then you could dare censure for my sake. I could dare it for the sake of any friend who deserved my adherence, as you, I'm sure, do. Go back now into the room. Step quietly up to Mason and whisper in his ear that Mr. Rochester is come and wishes to see him. Show him in here, and then leave me. Yes, sir. I did his behest. The company all stared at me as I passed straight amongst them. I sought Mr. Mason, delivered the message, and preceded him from the room. I ushered him into the library, and then I went upstairs. At a late hour, after I had been in the bed some time, I heard the visitors repair to their chambers. I distinguished Mr. Rochester's voice and heard him say, "This way, Mason. This is your room." He spoke cheerfully. The gay tone set my heart at ease. I was soon asleep.